let's get everything set up here this morning. All right. How's everything? How's everything? Don, what are you doing down there? Come on now. Let's get you going here.
Good, and yourself?
I'm
Headed
doing
over
good.
to the Airbnb. I won't be able to see it on the screen today because I gotta go. I'm driving a
Okay.
little bit.
All right. What's going on here? Something's going on with my. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. We got Dawn here. All right. And we got Donna in the house. Good morning, Miss
Hey,
Donna.
Donna.
Good morning, Don. Good morning, Ice.
All right. Good.
Happy
Right.
Friday.
Happy Friday to everybody. Listen, folks, we're in the studio this morning. We've got some folks here. We got Miss Adrian here. I don't know how busy she is, but if she can come in, that would be great. We'll invite her up just in case. We got Miss Liza here. All right. And so we'll get her up on the stage. All right. Invite her up.
Got
Okay.
it.
All right, folks. Listen. All right. Listen, moderators, if you would help me get this show on the road, that would be wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right. So what's today is Friday, October 21st. Man, do you realize the month is almost gone? And today in the Pill Method Club, we're going to be talking about financial violence, what it is, how to identify it, what can we do about it. But first of all, we need to understand what it is. But before we even jump into that, I would love to be able to introduce to you all our moderators who have come to the stage this morning. Let's start with Miss Dawn. Miss Dawn, how are you?
Amazing. Hello, everyone.
Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell people how fabulous you are.
Sure. Hey, everyone. My name is Dawn Robinson, the Money PhD. I am a single teenage mom of twins, turned millionaire by age 44. But that was not without making many money mistakes. I got a bad boss. And I always say I wanted to tell she was number one with a different finger. I thought I had done everything right. The rental properties, the 8 months of savings, the 401k. But I didn't stop spending and realized that I could not afford to quit. I was $140,000 in consumer debt, paid it off in 17 months. And now I'm on a mission to help women over 40 who seem to be secretly struggling to figure out this money thing, whether it's how to save and pay off debt so they can invest is really what my specialty is, and to help them do that without sacrificing everything. You don't have to go on beans and rice to do it. So then you can ultimately pay off your mortgage, invest, and make work optional. Because I don't believe you're financially free until work becomes optional. So this is Dawn, and I'm done speaking.
All right, all right. I like beans and rice, but not every day. Not every
Yeah,
day.
me either. I like a good bowl of ramen,
Come on now.
even the cheap one, the
All
20
right, all
something
right.
one, but I don't
All right, the Matrix
for
has you, Miss
meals.
Dawn. All right, listen, we're going to come back to you. Miss Donna, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine, and thanks for asking, Ice. My name is Donna, and I'm located in Canada. I'm a registered nurse by profession and assisted living owner operators, operator of multiple assisted living. So my game here in the Clubhouse streets is presently I'm a commercial loan broker, and I can provide you with whatever loans and money you need to scale up your business and for your fix and flip, whatever that might be. I'm here to do that. So I'm always here to add value, always a student sitting at Don's feet, learning and growing, and can be able to add value where I can. Thank you. This is Donna, and I'm done speaking.
Thank you very much, Donna. We have Miss Adrian on the stage. Adrian, how are you doing this morning?
Hi, thank you so much. Happy Friday, everybody. It's Adrian Wells. I just popped in because I am so fascinated with Mr. Ice and what he teaches. And so I'm Adrian Wells, everybody. I've been in real estate for over 34 years. I've also been a news reporter for CBS, WDJT in Milwaukee. And I have developed great teams, but this is so fascinating. I'm so honored to be here because just to learn how to save money and how to save money off your mortgage is something that's incredible. And as I bring in investors into a city that I'm working on a passion project with, I'd love to be able to know how to do this. And I'm actually decided that I'm going to go through it so that I can be one of his poster childs.
That's right. Adrian, you're working in a city that a lot of people have written off. What city is that?
Yes, a lot of people have written off Gary, Indiana. That's the home of Michael Jackson. Now, keep in mind, I do live in Atlanta. I'm actually from Gary, but I live in Atlanta, and I actually rent a house here because I'm very passionate about changing the narrative here. This topic alone in this room alone is fascinating because about 70% of the occupants or the residents here are actually renters. They are not homeowners. And so I've been here with some other people to change the narrative, starting with the mindset, and then also then building up communities here. And actually, it's after 3 years of being here in and out, it's really turning around. And I can say just God is just so awesome. And so I'm very happy about that. But just keep in mind, Gary is one of the last underdeveloped cities on the lake. And we share the shores of Lake Michigan with Chicago, just 30 minutes of Chicago.
Wow. Listen, I'm glad you are doing that, because one of the things that we're going to be talking about with financial violence is not what we do to people financially. That's not what creates financial violence in my book. Okay. It is what we're not doing for people that we could do. When good people do nothing, that's what allows evil to exist. So, folks, what we're talking about today is don't be on the lookout for somebody doing something to you. So we're not out here, we're not being conspiracy theorists. We're saying that there's good information out here that people know. They're not providing it, they're not sharing it, they're not working to make sure that we get the information out. What would you say to that, Adrian?
I agree with you. You only know what you know, right? And when you do know more, you can do more. And so I just feel like when you said financial violence, I feel like a lot of people in these smaller cities like Gary experience that, if I'm on the right track. I mean, they just really are beaten up really bad with high mortgage costs, high rates, because they just don't know if I'm on the same track with you, if that's what I'm understanding this to be. And so I'll yield there just so that you can reply.
Well, listen, that is exactly it. So we're talking about those things that happen to people who are less fortunate, but financial violence doesn't stop there. Financial violence goes all the way up the ladder to the very affluent that are being convinced that they are making wise financial choices, when in fact, those who are in charge, the bankers, those who are in charge of the money, those who are at the top of the food chain, we have a system whereby even we who think we're affluent or doing well financially are still funneling our resources to those at the top of the food chain, because that's the way it's set up. Financial violence even occurs there, and we are not only does it occur, but we are complicit in our own victimization, and we don't even realize it. So we're going to get deep into this thing called financial violence. It's not just those it's just not inflicted upon those who have not, but those who consider themselves to have are going through it too. They just don't realize it, Miss Adrian.
I agree with you totally. They don't know what they don't know. That's just so evident. I see it all the time here. I'm just amazed at how much information that is bypassing, or if you will, everyone here. It's like, man, we're in 2022 and you all don't know about that, and that's not just this market, it's other smaller markets. I concentrate on smaller markets because I have a heart to help people who don't have access to the talent of all of the wonderful people on the stage, like yourself, Ms. Dawn, Ms. Donna, Ms. Lisa, you know and so it just goes down to saying that this type of information and really helping these people in this in those markets that they don't have access, they don't know how to get access, they're afraid, right? And it again, just people don't know what they don't know. So this is absolutely wonderful, and I can't wait to hear the rest.
All right, we're going to get started. Liza, how are you doing? Tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you're doing out there in the financial world.
Hi, everyone. Grand Rising. Thank you for having me on stage. I feel so honored. Thank you, Don. My name is Liza. I am originally from New York. Just a few years ago, after COVID and also losing my mom very tragically, just not to do with COVID, but we moved out of New York and we came to a little town over here, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I decided to get out my real estate license this past summer. I also have my degree in marketing, and we're starting up a team at Keller Williams Elite. And we're just super excited about introducing this model where we're going to be helping our clients anywhere from credit app to credit prep to obviously, you know, buying homes, but we really specialize in multifamily, and now bringing in the P.I.L.L method into our team. I just presented it to our team leaders, so we're looking forward to meeting up with ICE soon on some Zoom so we can train everybody on our team. I'm just super excited to bring this to just the people of our community here. There's a lot of like Latino community here that I just feel like are really underserved, and just to the same point of, you know, they have made some really good smart decisions in buying homes, but they're locked into those homes and they're not really like getting an opportunity to get into that passive income where they're not like stuck to working until they have to retire, and they never really pay off their home. So this stage has been like so awesome to me. I feel every single time I'm getting a little bit better getting onto stage. So just thank you so much. I'm just really here to like learn and just grow myself so I can become the best person to my clients and to my community, my family, friends. And I just feel so grateful just to be able to get access to this information. I just was like, whoa, I cannot believe this is out here. This is like gems. So I'm just really looking to expose this to as many people as possible. And I'm just so excited for Don being able to, I know it was you and it was also Coffee Brown that had sponsored my book. And trust me, I've been getting that book into as many hands as possible. So I'm just super grateful. Thank you for having me, and just wanted to pop in and just wish everybody a wonderful, like productive day. And that's it. Thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome. Folks, my name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And we exist for the express purpose of sharing information about finances that people don't even know to ask these questions. We're giving answers that people don't even know to ask. They don't even know the questions. So here's what we're doing. We are offering information that will provide freedom to all people who acknowledge the information. But here's what we're doing. Some people ask, why are you limiting your people? Why are you limiting the information to only those who are looking for a better way? We're not. We don't limit the information. What we found out over the years is that only people who are looking for better information can actually hear what we're saying. Someone who is completely satisfied with what they're already doing, they don't hear us. They can't hear us. So we're not trying to talk to people who are completely satisfied with what they're doing. We only talk to those people who are looking for, praying for, hoping for a better way to handle their finances and their loans. So folks, that's what we do here at the P.I.L.L Method. We want to make sure that people all over the world who are looking for a better way can cut their interest costs by 75%, pay off all of their debt in an average of 7 to 9 years without eating beans and rice every day, without cutting up their credit cards, and without sacrificing lifestyle. Not only that, but there are some people who are real estate investors. They're not looking to pay off the debt. What they're looking for is, how can we get equity faster and cheaper. And therefore we can cash out refi, take that money and redeploy it in building our real estate empire. So we're helping everybody along those lines. So whether you are a home buyer or a real estate investor and you're looking for a better way to handle your finances, this is it. You are in the right place. So folks, let's go ahead. We have 13 people in here right now. Let's go ahead and share the room out. We're going to hear from Dr. Eric Thomas, and then I'm going to jump right into our first examples, and then you're going to find this very, very interesting. In fact, when I explain it to you, you're going to say, why are you doing the complete opposite of what people already know to do? I'm going to show you the numbers. But first of all, you need to know somebody is out there that was looking for a better way to handle their finances, and they do very well financially. In fact, I heard this gentleman who is the number one the number one motivational speaker in the entire world. I heard him say once that a Fortune 100 company brought him in for an hour speech and paid him 150 grand for an hour. Man, I'm telling you, I can't wait to get to that level. I put it in my book. I want to be a keynote speaker. I have it in there. I see myself being a keynote speaker. But when somebody is making that kind of money and their wife is still worried about paying off the mortgage and doing it in the right way, oh my goodness, you need to hear what he has to say. And then we're going to jump right in to our first example. Let's hear from Dr. Eric Thomas. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, and our team created the most powerful money management, wealth building, debt elimination system ever created. At our recent seminar in Nashville, Tennessee, the keynote speech was delivered by the number one motivational speaker in the world, Dr. Eric Thomas. E.T., as he's also known, mentioned he paid off his mortgage in 4 years using the P.I.L Method. I invite you to watch and listen.
Listen to me, y'all. Well, one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Did you hear that? No mortgage, no stress. If you would like to become debt and mortgage free within an average of 7 to 9 years by cutting your interest costs by up to 75%, go to pillmethod.com and request a savings and earnings report today. That's right, folks. Get your savings and earnings report today. Go to my link up above, ice10k.com. If you are watching us online, if you're watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or LinkedIn, that would be ICE, ICE, standing for Interest Cancellation Expert, ICE, the number 10, the letter K.com, and that's my digital business card. If you put that into your browser, it will come up, my card will come up, and then you can click on the button that says Get a Savings and Earnings Report. Fill out all the information, follow all the instructions, and you will be let into our financial form. Fill it all out with what we're asking for, and my team will get that information, and we will develop your savings and earnings report, and you can know the month, day, and year you'll be debt-free and how much interest you can save. And most of my clients are out of debt in an average of 7 to 9 years. Not just the mortgage, all of the debt. That's your mortgage, student loans, credit cards, everything. in an average of 7 to 9 years. It's absolutely amazing. You want to know more about interest cancellation. And if you just want an introduction to interest cancellation, then there's my book. All right. And it is out of 33 million titles on Amazon. There's only one book that describes what we're going to be talking about today, understanding interest cancellation at the basic level, so that we can then level up and understand how we're using technology to take us to the next level and understanding how to beat the bank at their own game. So folks, get the book, fill out your report so that you can know the month, day, and year you could be debt free and how much interest you can save. So let's jump right into this right now. So here's what happened yesterday, folks. All right, I have 7 shares. I have 13 people in here right now. Can we share just a few more times? Because this is vital information. And if you want to see this example, on that same card, folks, here in Clubhouse, if you want to see what I've got up here, you want to pull up your tablet or your laptop computer. If you want to stay on Clubhouse, then you can see a link in my 10K card up above, and then you will see a button that says Watch Us Live. Okay, all the links are there for Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. You can watch us live today, so you can see these examples right on your screen. And folks, if you're listening to the replays and you want to see this, go to those 4 social media platforms, search P.I.L.L Method, and you will be able to see a replay of this live information. So let's get started. Okay, folks, for all of my people who are on stage, if I'm saying something and you have something to add, please interrupt me no matter where I am and add in, because we need everybody's help here. If you're in the audience and you have something to add, raise your hand. Come to the stage, because what we're going to be talking about is common to a lot of people. I had somebody call me yesterday and said, here's our situation. We're selling a house. Okay. The house has been sold and we're building a new house. Guess what? Oh my goodness. And we have about 180K available to purchase the land. What we're looking to do is purchase the land, and therefore our house that we're building is going to be about 700,000. Instead of getting a mortgage for the whole thing, 880K. And they want to know what would be the best way to go about this. Now, the interest rate that they've locked in, and they bought some points and down to 5.5%, as opposed to, and I just got this off CNN a day or two ago, and it wasn't CNN, it was CNBC, a day or two ago, that the interest rates have gone to 7.22. Okay. So for the most part, they were feeling really good about buying those points down. So we're going to take a look at all of the numbers. And they said, what is the best thing to do, Don? And I said, I don't know. I have to run the numbers. When you ask somebody something as complicated as this, especially at that level, when you're talking about $180,000 here, $700,000 there, 7% interest rate over here, 5 versus 5.5%, what should we do? And you're going to ask me to just tell you, I don't know. Let's run the numbers, and the numbers will tell you which way you want to go. Okay? Because I'm telling you, people lie, but numbers don't lie. Any agreement there on stage? People lie, but numbers don't lie. So let's go ahead. Let's put our amortization schedule on the screen. And here's what we're talking about. Now, we're going to take a look at and contrast the $700,000 loan as opposed to the $880,000 loan. Now, first of all, we're going to my engineer says, Don, I would love to share this screen, but you haven't showed us which screen to share. Okay, I get it. I just get so excited. All right. So if you want to see this, remember, go to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter to watch what we're putting on the screen. And right now I have an amortization schedule on the screen for you to see. I have an $880,000 mortgage, and I've just changed it over to the one that's 5.5%. Okay. I also have a $700,000 mortgage at 5.5%. Now, this is what someone brought to me and says, what should we do? I got 700,000 at 5.5. We're going to pay the 180,000, all right, for the land. Now, I've got people who are experienced here, and I need to ask one question because I've got a question that I don't know the answer to. Okay, if you sell a house and you profit 180,000, you have to pay capital gains on that. Is that correct?
If it's not your primary.
If it's not your primary, okay. All right. What if it is your primary?
No capital gains up until I think 550 for a married couple.
Okay. All right. See, I didn't know that. Okay. So what if it is? Okay, let's say it is not your primary. And let's say you do have to pay capital gains. All right. And can you put that money back into some more real estate to avoid capital gains?
I think you can, but I think that's the 1031 exchange. That's what I know from investment property. Somebody else can chime in, but from a 1031, but 1031 is tight.
Okay.
Because from the time of the sale, what I know when I was looking into it, from the time of the sale to the time I buy the time of the sale, the first property, and to the purchase of the next property, you have to identify it within 45 days. And the complete transaction, meaning both sale and close on the second one, has to be done in 180 days. But it is very regulated, the transfer. So
okay, you
have to be real tight on the timelines on that one.
All right. Now here's a question I have. All right. Now most people think if everything is the way it's supposed to be, most people would take that 180,000 and put it down as a down payment so that they can be in compliance. My question is, can I take that money and put it down as a prepayment on another loan and still be in compliance? That's my question.
I don't think so.
Really?
Think you either have to do capital gains tax. If it's not your primary, you either have to pay the capital gains or you have to do a 1031 exchange.
Okay. All right. So that means I have to put it down as a down payment instead of a prepayment on the property.
No, I don't think that part doesn't matter. Once you sell that property and it is not your primary, you are going to be subject to capital gains. The only way that you won't be subject to capital gains that I understand is a 1031 exchange. There's nothing else. It doesn't matter what you do with it. You're going to pay capital gains, or you either use a 1031 custodian to hold the funds until you buy another property. But it's an investment property. So likely, since that was their primary, they wouldn't have to worry about that because they're going from a primary to buy another primary.
All right.
That's
So
what it sounds like for them.
That's true. But will that exchange allow me then to put that money as a prepayment instead of a down payment?
You can do whatever you want to do with it. You can go in the savings account. As long as it's your primary, the sale of your primary residence, you can do whatever you want. And I think the capital gains limit is 550 for married.
Wow. Okay. So I'm getting some information here. So if we have to do the 1031 exchange, then I'm able to use that money as a down payment or a prepayment. That's what I was getting at. Okay. Is that
I don't know. That might change the game, but it might.
Okay.
I think the main thing is you got to purchase. It doesn't matter how you do it. You just have to buy it. On a 1031, I have to sell one property and buy another property.
Right.
Like same or similar. So that's the difference on that.
Okay. You have to buy with that money.
Yes, and you don't get to touch it. It goes to the custodian, the seller of the house.
Right.
The proceeds go to the custodian, and the purchase of the other one, it goes from the custodian to the purchase of the other one.
All right, Adrian, Liza, can you tap in on this? Help me out here. Help us out here with. Do you have any more insight here for me? Okay, maybe not. All right. So here's where we are, folks. I need let's just say what we are doing. We may have to do a little bit more math to make all of this work out. But when you make a decision, then you have to take a look at, if I make a decision this way, what are my benefits and what are my potential costs? If I make a decision another way, what are my benefits and what are my potential costs on that? So let's take a look at this, okay? So let's just say, good morning, Credit Goddess. How are you doing?
I'm good, Don. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Would you introduce yourself to the folks? And I'm going to jump right into this example that I have on my screen.
Absolutely. My name is Rose Laura Lewis, also known as Credit Goddess. I am all things credit. I'm a credit score improvement strategist, business credit coach, a NAV business loan broker, and an educator in the credit space. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you so much. Okay, folks, right now I have on my screen a $700,000 mortgage at 5.5%. And the payment is $39.7452. And the reason why we did this is because we took $180,000 that we had available, that the person had, and they used that money to purchase more property. Okay, and so now they have a $700,000 mortgage and they're paying them. Now I need you to take a look at this. I need you to take a look at the principal payment. We're going to study, first of all, how interest cancellation works using this model. Once you understand this, okay, because some people are in here for the first time and they don't understand the basics of interest cancellation. So we're going to go over what that means. Now, first of all, this is basic information. This is not how we use the P.I.L.L method. The P.I.L.L method is a system of education and uses technology to make specific moves at certain times with specific amounts of money that our computer system comes up with for each individual family or business. But I'm giving you some basics here so that you can understand what the program is using, and then the program then makes better decisions to save more money in interest per dollar. Okay, now what does that mean? If you can save $6 in interest for every dollar applied to principal, why would you ever want to save $3? That's kind of where we're going. You want to make sure that every dollar you use is saving you the maximum amount of interest as you apply it to the debt. Now, let's get into understanding how all of this works, some of the basics, and then I'll get into how we should use that $180,000 the person was asking me about. So if we have the very first payment here, look, $766.19 goes to principal. Look how much goes to interest, $3,208.33. We have 10 shares in the building. We have 18 people in here. So come on, continue to share. Let the people come in. And if you want to see this, go to, we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, so you can see these examples and you can just do a search and watch us live. So first of all, we have very first month, $766.19 goes to principal. Interest is $3,208.33. If you're taking notes, you want to write this down, okay? Interest payments you skip don't matter. Write it down, folks. Interest payments you skip don't matter. It doesn't matter to me if these interest payments are over $3,000 a month. Now, as people looking at this thing, that's horrendous. Only $700, a little over $700 I'm paying goes to my mortgage, but the bank gets $3,200. Yes, indeedy, that's what's happening here on a 30-year mortgage. You better believe it. Okay. But I don't care because interest payments I can skip don't matter. Let me show you how easy it is to skip interest payments. Let's say we make our first payment in January, okay? My first payment is in January, and $766.19 was applied to the $700,000 that I owe. I now have left $699,233.81. That's my principal balance on line 1 of my amortization schedule. And out of my payment, $3,208.33 went to interest. Stephanie Rice is watching us from YouTube this morning, and she says good morning to all of you on all platforms, even in Clubhouse. Okay, so let's keep our hands up there. And I see Miss Tabitha is in here this morning. How are you doing, Miss Tabitha? All right, good to see you. All right, folks, here's what we've got. We are looking at that's like we made that payment in January, but you can also see February's principal payment, $769.70. That's February's principal payment. Okay, and February's interest payment is $3,204.82. It's about $4 difference. It's still a lot of money. So watch this. Now, based on what you know to be true, if you make January's payment and you can see February's principal payment of $769, here's my question. Do I have to wait till February to give the bank $769.70? Do I have to wait till February to give that money to the bank if I have it available now? All right, put it in the chat. Put it online. Let's see. All right. All right. Go ahead. I see Basilia Muhammad is here. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning to you as well. So, folks, tell me, if you have $769 in January, do you have to wait till February to apply that money to principal on your loan? Do you have to wait? Okay, put it in the chat, everybody. Brenda Jackson says no. Donna says no, you don't have to wait. So that's true. I've made my January payment and I have $769.70 available. And when I give that to the bank before it is due, before February 1st, they have to apply that to principal. And in fact, when they do, they subtract it. Ms. Muhammad says, you don't have to wait. All right, great. So now I am paid down to here, line 2 on my principal balance. Wow, look at that. $769. I'm paid down because they subtract that money. I'm paid down to line 2, and my next mortgage payment is actually on line 3. February's payment is now on line 3, where I pay $773.23 in principal and $3201.29 in interest. So that's my new February payment. What happened to line 2? Line 2 was totally eliminated for $769.70 because I paid it early. And the interest of $3,204.82 is interest I no longer have to pay because I prepaid the $769.70. Does that look good to you? If that is good information for you, if that's great information, please put a number 9 in the chat. Put a number 9 in the comments if you're watching us online. Put a number 9 in there. All right, Adrian says no. She says several 9s. Okay, for $769 invested. All right, Tabitha, thank you. All right, and Jana, thank you very much for that, for putting those 9s in there, because Nicole is watching us online as well. She says, great, number 9. So that's good information, folks. That's good information. Now watch this. If I make January's payment here, all right? I make January's payment, and then I give the bank, let's say I have a little money in the bank. I got a little money in the bank, all right? And so here's what we could do, folks. I got a little bit of money in the bank, and I'm looking at my amortization schedule. Ms. Muhammad says 9s all the way across the board. Thank you very much for that. I got a little money in the bank. I make January's payment. Watch this. And I'm looking at my amortization schedule, and I have 769. I can put that on the mortgage. I can do 773. I can add that to it. And the 776.77. Wow, about $2,200. I can put that on my mortgage. Okay. I can eliminate 3 payments I never have to make, and over $9,000, $9,600, almost in interest I never have to pay because I invested $2,200 into my mortgage principal. Now, what just happened? I need to explain this in several different ways. Okay. Now, I need you to see this. I need you to see what's going on. Okay. When we do this, when we make our mortgage payments like the bank wants us to, all right, I need you to take a look at cumulative principal and cumulative interest. All right. After 4 months on this mortgage, I will pay this mortgage down by $3,085.89. That's what happens. Look at how much interest I have to pay. $12,812.19. So let's look at it this way. When I'm paying down on this mortgage, I just created about $3,000 worth of equity. All right. I have just created a difference between what I owe and what the house is worth by another $3,000 because that's what I applied to principal. So does that make sense, folks? That we have created that equity. But guess what? It cost me $12,812.19 to get that equity. Is that true or not true? All right, true, not true. So as you put your answers in, Ms. Muhammad asked a question here. Can you make one extra principal payment monthly and achieve the same results as making a lump sum payment? Thank you. All right, number one. All right, so watch this, Ms. Muhammad. I need you to watch this. Okay, so as you're making one extra payment monthly, let's say you want to do it monthly, okay, and say, okay, but you don't know exactly what to do. As you're doing it monthly, then you may pay, as I do this, what if I don't have the extra money monthly? What if something happens? Sometimes things happen, you know, we got to fly across country because to say goodbye to Aunt Martha. Okay. And those tickets are horrendous for the entire family.
Good. It's something for my niece and I.
Okay. All right.
I was looking for something to do with her.
Miss Dawn. All right.
Sorry, Mom.
There you go. All right.
Sorry.
That's all right. So folks, here's what we're doing. All right. So we may have to fly across country. The hot water heater could blow up. All right. Things could happen that would make us feel like we can't put the extra money on, even though we have it. Okay. Sometimes things happen like that. But in answer to your question, you could put money on every month, but sometimes we don't. And sometimes we don't put the right amount. And if we don't, watch this. Do you see that the principal and the interest payments here get smaller and smaller and smaller every month? The most expensive interest payments are at the beginning of the loan. So my question is, do we want to wipe out the most expensive interest payments as soon as we can with what we have available? Or do we want to pause until something else happens that we think the money becomes available and then apply certain amounts of money? So the thing is, folks, when it comes to spreadsheets, here's what people do with spreadsheets. And I've had engineers come into my office and say, you know what, Don, I can do what you're doing with my spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet is free. And they say, well, I'm putting an extra $500 or $700 or $1,000, whatever it is, on my mortgage per month, according to my spreadsheet. And I'm going to be done in about 15 years with a 30-year mortgage. Okay, because that's what it works out to be. And a spreadsheet can give you that information. But here's the thing. If you're trying to do it every month to achieve a certain outcome, that means you have to do it every single month, not missing one in 15 years. That's 180 times you apply that money every single month, and you can't miss a month. Even though the hot water heater blows up, you have to buy a car that you weren't planning on buying. You have to fix the roof you weren't planning on fixing. Okay. And you got flooded out when a pipe broke. Okay. So all of that, none of that stuff can happen during the 15 years you're trying to put all that extra money on the debt. And folks, it's just impractical. Not going to happen. That we could do that 180 times without missing a beat. And every time you miss a beat, then you're going to pay more interest. And a spreadsheet doesn't try to get you caught back up. You just start where you left off. Okay. So if something major happens and you can't put that extra money on for 3 months, that means you're paying that high interest for those 3 months. And then you just start back. Your spreadsheet doesn't say, let's try to make up for lost time. And now to make up for lost time, you have to put a little bit more on to get caught up. We don't do that. Generally, we just start back where we are because that's what the spreadsheet says to do. Put that extra 500 on because that's what we were doing before. All right. So I hope that answers your question. But once you get into this more and more, you will see that putting the right amount of money at the right time matters. In fact, you don't want to put too much money on at the wrong time because that can even be hurtful because now you're violating the law of diminished return. Okay. There's a certain point at which more is too much. Now, remember, the key to this thing is saving the maximum amount of interest per dollar. So the big answer to the question is this. You can't save as much money putting it on monthly as you can doing it in lump sums when you have the right amount of money to put on the loan. You're going to save more interest per dollar. Now, if you want, I can get into that more deeply. If you contact us and we can then do a consultation and I can take you very deep into this thing. In fact, we're going to be doing thanks to Credit Goddess, we're going to be doing some master classes. We're going to put together a community, and then we're going to be doing some master classes where we can dive deep into some of these questions that Ms. Muhammad brought up. All right. Thank you, Ms. Muhammad. Thank you very much. She says, beautiful explanation, and thank you. All right, folks, let's get back into it. So here's where we are. We're looking at what this family is doing to save thousands of dollars. Now I want to show you one extra thing here. Looking at cumulative principal and looking at cumulative interest. I need you to see one thing. In 1 year, we're going to pay this mortgage down by $9,429.61 in 1 year. How much interest do we have to pay to do that? Look at your cumulative interest, $38,264.63. Folks, is that too much money to pay for $9,400 worth of equity? Is $38,264 too much money to pay? And if you think it is, I need you to put a yes in the chat. If you think that's too much money to pay for that much equity, to pay the mortgage down by $9,400, it should cost $38,000 in interest to do that. Put a yes in the chat if you think it is. All right. Let me go down here and let me go ahead and take a look. All right. Do I see any yeses? Is that too much to pay? Or maybe it's not too much to pay. I don't know. Why don't you tell me? $38,000 in interest to pay off $9,429.61 off your loan, but it's going to cost 38 grand. Yes or no? Put yes if you think that's too much. Okay. All right, folks, continue to share the room. Okay, continue to share the room. We are going, here they come. All right, they're saying yes. They think that's too much. Continue to share the room. Let's get some more people in here. Okay, now watch this. Miss Muhammad said, yes, that's too much money to pay. So here's my question. If we know we're going to pay at least $9,429.61, if we know that for a fact, okay, do we have to pay that in 12 monthly installments? Do we have to pay the $9,429.61 in 12 monthly installments? Or if I have it, can I pay it all at one time? Watch this. If I pay it all in one time, do you realize I'm paid down to line 12 in 1 month? I cancel all the interest between line 2 and line 12 is gone. I'd never have to pay it. Plus, guess what? My next mortgage payment, if I do that in January, my next mortgage payment for February is now on line 13 of my amortization schedule. How about that? What just happened? Instead of costing me $38,264.63 worth of interest to get it there, it only cost me $3,208.33 that I had to pay on line 1. So folks, if I'm going to pay this mortgage down by $9,400 and I have the choice, some people don't have the choice, but if I have the choice, should I give the bank $38,000 for the privilege or should I opt for giving them only $3,200 for the privilege? How about that? Okay. So folks, thank you so very much for being in here this morning. Continue to share the room. And if you're new to the room and you want to see these examples online, click on the link up above and click on where it says watch us live, and you will see the links there for YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and you can go to a separate device and watch us live there. Okay. Now, here's what's happening. Now that you've got some basics here. Okay. Now that you've got some basics. So, Ms. Liza, are you still with us this morning? All right. Which one of our moderators can speak to me? Who's available?
I am.
Hey, Miss Donna, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. So here's what we've got. So far, we have shown what can happen with a mortgage that's at 5.5 that we actually had to pay money to get. All right. We had to buy down the rate. Okay. We're buying points and we got it here. Now, what I'm going to show is what if we didn't buy down the rate to 5.5. So I'm going to do another tab here, and I'm going to change the interest rate to 7% because that's what it is now. 7%. Watch this. The payment is higher. Look at the payment. The payment went from $39.74 at 5.5. The payment is now $46.57.12. So the payment is more. But look at the principal payment. Look at this. The principal payment is now $573, $577. So if I can afford the payment, why would I buy down the rate? Because if I want to accelerate my payoff on this loan, it's much easier to come up with the $577 extra instead of at the lower interest rate, the $769 extra. Look at that. So remember, at the lower interest rate, look at this, $9,429 $429.61 takes off 12 months. At the higher interest rate, watch this, at the higher interest rate, $9,400 does this in my loan. Oh, it takes off about 16 months. About 16 months, the same amount of money applied to principal does more work at the higher interest rate. It does exactly opposite of what we have been told. What do you all think of that? Come on. Is that good information?
Excellent.
It's where the
Excellent.
magic happens.
Yep.
Okay, so now with that basic information, I want to show you what happens when we contrast $880,000 on a mortgage as opposed to paying money down, paying $180,000 down payment. Okay, so that we can have a $700,000 loan instead. Okay, watch what happens here. So we're going to put this back. We got $880,000. Okay, at 5.5. All right. And we have $880,000 at 7.22. Okay, I've got those two loans in here. All right, so let's contrast that. All right, so I got $700,000. Okay, let's take a look at the $700,000 at 7%, and we're going to contrast that, okay, with the $880,000. Now, okay, $880,000. Watch this. So I've got $880,000 at 5.5. Look at my payment. It's $4,996.54. Okay. Now I'm looking at that. I like the lower payment. I don't need the lower payment. I like it, but I don't need it, because let's say I'm in a position where I could pay the mortgage payment, whether it is at 7% or at 5%. I just like the fact that I can buy this thing down to 5.5%. Okay, watch what we're doing here. So if I do that, look at my mortgage payments at 5.5. Do you see my $963? All right, and my $4,000 interest payments? That said, Don, listen. Now we're at $4,000 in interest payments, and we have principal payments of $900. I want you to remember this, folks. I want you to remember this. Interest payments I skip don't matter. Now, just say I have my resources will allow me to do either this loan at 5.5% or the same loan at 7.22%. I can do either one. Okay, where I'm paying $5,985.26 or $4,996.54. But watch my principal payment here at the 7.22%. Look at my principal payment. Drops all the way down to $690, $694, as opposed to at the lower principal payment of $900. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Now, I'm going to recommend, because of this, let's just say I'm going to go straight to the $880,000 at 7.22. Okay. I like the higher interest rate. I don't like buying down the rate because I can afford to make this payment and I can make greater headway on this loan if I wanted to. Let's contrast this loan against the $700,000 at 5.5. I can pay $180,000 down. I start at payment number one at 5.5% right here. This is where I start, $700,000. I make one payment, I'm already down to $699,000. Do you see that? Now, That means I put my $180,000 as a down payment. I bought the land, so I'm not putting that in my mortgage. But the other way is not to pay for the land, put it all inside the mortgage, and have $880,000 mortgage. So if I have an $880,000 mortgage at 7.22, watch this. Where is my $180,000, Dawn or Donna? Where's my $180,000 if I have a mortgage of $880,000? Where's my money that I could have put down? Where is it? Still in the bank?
It's in your hands still right now.
I still have it, right?
Yep.
All right. Now, if my only choices are make $180,000 down payment or $180,000 prepayment, which one is going to be better? Either way, I have a $700,000 loan. Either way.
Prepayment.
Watch what happens.
Prepayment.
Watch what happens when I prepay the $180,000 on this loan. Watch this. Do you see cumulative principal here? I'm going to scroll down until we see $180,000 or thereabouts. Okay? We're scrolling down. We've already taken off 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 11, 12, 13 years, 13 years. Look at this. 13 years, 1 month. I can take that 180,000 and apply it to this loan and knock off 13 years, 1 month. And folks, look over to the right. Do I have a $700,000 loan? I still have $700,000, but I took my $180,000 and made a prepayment to the loan instead of a down payment to the loan. Now, why do I consider this financial violence? I consider it financial violence because the people who own the financial institutions are not actively sharing this information. I call that violent. So are they doing anything to people? I mean, is this illegal? No, it's not. All right. Are they required to teach people how loans work? No, the financial institutions are not required to teach us financial literacy. But this is a huge difference between what $180,000 can do as a prepayment and what $180,000 can do as a down payment. Now, look at this. I need you to see this. With $180,000 prepaid, look how much interest I just saved in 1 month. $760,000 in interest I never have to pay. If I don't do anything else, if I just make every payment from this point on, okay, and pay the loan off for the next 17 years, okay, at least I've saved $760,000. I don't have to pay an interest. Wow, wow, wow. Do you realize that most people who have this mortgage, okay, and there are people out there that have it, they're making minimum payments. And for them to pay down their loan by $180,000, it's going to cost them $760,000 in interest that they didn't even realize they paid. Man, oh man. How? Listen, if you think this is great information, I need you to start putting some number 9s in the chat. If you like this information, put number 9s in the chat right now. Remember, interest payments you skip don't matter. Interest payments you skip don't matter. All right? So go ahead. Go ahead. Who has something to say?
Hey, this is Dawn. So I wanted to say a couple of things. One is I wanted to say the benefit of this, even if you don't plan to stay in your house, work for us, because we bought our house in a condo in Hawaii, which was at $675, We stayed 2.5 years, and we end up pretty much living for free because we cleared 60,000 at close, right? So our payoff was 604. I think it was 604 when we sold a couple years later. And so those are just the, I just love to see this in action. The other thing I had put in the chat, if you could show the effective rate, like if they kept one way, you know, they did the points for 5, they paid down to 5, and if they paid off at 7, what would be the effective rate based on the example you just showed? I know you always do that one as well.
I can do that, but to actually do the math is quite complicated. I have some examples where the effective rate is already figured out, so you can get a good idea of what's going on. I can show it right now. Okay, I have
just because I know you had. I'm sorry, you had the example of the 5, with the point pay down.
Yep.
And you might, if you could just tell them, you know, how much that 2-point pay down would count. The 2-point pay down actually cost them. I think you showed that before, but just show them the effective rate. I think that'll help see the difference between the 5 and the 7 as well.
Okay, so if we take a look at the 7.22 and we look at what the bank wants, okay, the bank wants this. They want $1,274,000 in interest. I don't care what they want, which would make it a total interest paid as a percentage of principal of 144.852%. Okay, so I don't care what they want. I want what I want. I want to pay a lot less interest. Let me give you an example here of a larger loan. It's a commercial loan. I'm going to put that example, and Dawn, I'm going to talk about the effective interest rate here. Okay, here's a commercial loan. All right, it is $2,236,000. $2,236,000. The bank wants $1,123,195. Okay, for this particular client, they are only going to pay $231,000 in interest. So if they had an interest rate from the bank and they paid it according to the bank's methods, to only pay $231,000 in interest on this loan instead of $1,123,195 in interest that the bank wants, they would have to have an interest rate. I need to see this, and maybe I need to pull it up and make it bigger, but they would have to have an interest rate of 0.67%. Dawn, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay, folks, right now, the average interest rate on this loans we've got 5%. Average interest rate is 4.34. Actually, one is 5% and the other one is a little bit less. Okay, but to get this all the way down to where you're only paying $231,000 in interest instead of $1,123,000 in interest, you'd have to have an interest rate of 0.67. You'd have to have less than 1%. Okay, you'd have to have less than 1% interest to do this, and the interest savings amount to $891,000. That is a 79% reduction in interest cost for this real estate investor. What do you all think about that? All right, what y'all think about that? Come on now. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now, I'm going to get into this. Why do we consider this financial violence? Because this is a real estate investor. I need to show you the money. All right, let me show you the money of a real estate investor that's using this system. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. At the outset, I said that financial violence even occurs at the upper echelon. The financial violence occurs with people who are well off. So Dawn, look at this. Since you asked the question, our monthly base income on these buildings is $57,882. Okay, on average. The debt payment, the debt service on these two loans amounts to $14,696. So if I'm bringing in $57,882 and I subtract what I'm paying on my mortgage of $14,696, that means I'm bringing home $43,000 a month. Would that be considered pretty good cash flow?
Absolutely.
Okay. But what's happening with this particular lender? With this particular investor is this.
He's probably likely ignoring the interest cost, right? And he's probably taking all of that and doing something else when he realized, if he just knew or she knew that she could, prepay the principal and make more cash flow quicker.
Exactly.
In the long run.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up, let me see here, and put this back on the screen. All right, put that back. There we go. And I'm going to pull up on another screen. You guys can't see this, but we're going to put in there Brett Whistle. And let me put the numbers in for this particular loan. I'm just going to put in the numbers for one of the loans so you could see that, Dawn, since you brought it up. All right, I need this example. There it is. The payment is $8,704. All right, $8,704. Let's pull this over and put this on the screen. All right. Boom. All right, there it is. It's on the screen now. $8,704. Interest rate is 5%. You guys can see that now. And the term is 300 months. Okay. That means that our mortgage is, okay, I got the wrong number in. Look at that. Our interest rate is just 5%. Let me do this over. Get that out of there. That was crazy. All right. Interest rate is 5%. Here's our mortgage. $1,488,906. That's our mortgage. Okay. So in the first year on this loan, Dawn, this real estate investor is going to pay this loan down. Now, remember how much money we're making. All right. We're cash flowing $43,000 a month, and up to now, not even worried about it because we're cash flowing so well. But what we're not looking at is we're paying this loan down by $30,699. That's $30,700 in 1 year, but it costs $73,748 to get in interest to get it. Okay, $73,000. Now, would that be considered financial violence? Okay, to pay $73,000, even though I'm making 43 grand a month. I'm making 43 grand a month. Is this financial violence to pay to get $31,000 in equity, but it cost me nearly $74,000 to get it in interest? I call that financial violence.
Yeah, that's the part that a lot of people, whether they're investor or primary home, we're not looking at. We're not taught to look at all costs.
Okay.
Whether in cars, they call it the total cost of ownership.
Mm-hmm.
We should do one on that one. Dawn, that might be the total cost of ownership.
You know, we should do a whole room on that. Because, there are some things that I could overlook, Dawn. All right. I want to get into a home. All right. Because one of the things that I've looked at when I moved from Michigan and I moved to Alabama, guess what I was looking for? Okay. Because I live in Michigan. We had trees in our yard. What happens every year?
They fall.
Those leaves fall. Who's got to get them up?
Somebody. I know you're not doing it.
Listen, I used to. I used to because I had my W-2 job. I used to do it myself. But Dawn, guess what? They get in the gutter. And I got to get them out of the gutter. They fall in the yard. Sticks fall in the yard. You got to do tree maintenance. Somebody's got to cut all that grass. Okay. So I'm looking at all of the maintenance that has to go into it. Now, I love being a home buyer. I'm just telling you, I love it. I'm just saying that sometimes we don't look at everything that has to be done. Either you have to do it or you have to pay somebody to do it. But when I moved to Alabama, Dawn, you haven't been to my house yet, but when you drive by, when you guys come by, you and your husband come by, you will see there are no trees in my yard. If there's no trees in my yard, there's no trees in my neighbor's yard, and my gutters are pristine. There are no leaves in my gutters. And I moved to Alabama. I moved to Alabama in 2008. I haven't cut a blade of grass since 2008. Okay? Somebody else. I don't even own a lawnmower. So what I'm saying is, folks, when you take a look at these things, don't forget about the fact that you got to do maintenance. Dawn, I had to do some roof repair. All right. I had to, my air conditioner went out. It was a new house. Okay. A new house, but the air conditioner went out on it. I eventually had to stop trying to fix that thing and I had to replace it. Okay. $7,000, $8,000, $9,000. Okay. And Miss Muhammad says she's in Michigan and the maintenance can be a bit much. No trees in my front yard though.
I don't have any either, Dawn. I have none in the back, and we cut down the two we had in the front this year, so I don't have any trees either.
Okay, so all of those things we're talking about add to it. Okay, so when we don't pay attention to it, those things can cost us a lot of money. And what I'm trying to point out here, folks, when we're pointing out what is financial violence to me is that even I'm committing financial violence when I know that something can be done better and I don't share it. Only me and my family take advantage of this information. Dawn, you and your family have benefited greatly from the information you have received over the years. Donna, yours too when you get off the phone. So listen, Dawn, what are you doing with the information that you've gained over the years?
What's that? The story says, go tell it on the mountain.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and it's so funny because I think when you're a disruptor and you're going against what everybody has heard for so long, it seems strange, right?
Yeah.
It seems strange to them. But I could tell you, I could turn crypto and make you a billionaire tomorrow, and everybody's listening. I'm that quiet.
Oh, listen, watch it now. I see Yorksta in the building. Yorksta, I'm assuming you know something about New York, and I don't know if you're a baseball fan, but can you tell me who won last night? Because I don't know if the Yankees won last night. Does anybody know? All right, put it in the chat. Did the Yankees win last night? All right. So Yorkshire said we can skip this topic. Oh, okay. All right. I gotta go check it out then. All right. Let me go check that. Let me go check it out and see what happened with that. Folks, listen, what we're doing here, we have learned quite a bit about what's going on. I could get into the math much deeper. Okay. But I wanted to show you what would be the difference between, you can see it now. You can see it now. Should I, we're going to go back to our original thing and put that on the screen. Should we, in this particular case, should we make the down payment, if I can afford the payment, should I make the down payment of $180,000? Okay. All right. At 7.22% if I can make the payment, or should I make a down payment of $180,000. Dawn, what I didn't do, I didn't contrast the 180,000 against the $700,000 at 5.5. Maybe we would be better off, okay, if we do the math there, right? Okay, so I'm going to take a look at this and I'm going to put those two together. I got 880,000 at 7.22. Where's my $700,000 loan at 5.5? We're going to put those next to each other. And I need you to see something, okay? I have at being at 5.5%, and this is how it's sold. I would have, looking at over the long haul, the bank wants $730,827 at 5.5% on this loan if I keep the loan for 30 years. All right, you guys following me there? If I look at the $800,000 loan at 7.22%, look at this. The bank wants $1,274,693. Now remember this, interest payments I skip don't matter. The bank wants $1,274,000, but Dawn, does that mean the bank is going to get $1,274,000 of my hard-earned dollars in interest?
No, and I thought that's why you didn't do the contrast, because it was like that's only if we said we were going to pay both of them out to 30 years.
Yes.
So I thought that's why you skipped it.
No. We just didn't get a chance to get around to it. So folks, we've been in here over an hour. Okay. We've been here almost an hour and a half, an hour and 24 minutes. Let me go ahead and do a quick reset. You're in the P.I.L.L Method Club, and this is how to pay off your mortgages and other debt in 7 years. And today we're talking about how to stop financial violence and understanding how these loans actually work. And I want to share with you a way that you can cut your interest costs by 75%. You can be out of debt in an average of 7 to 9 years. And I need you to hear something from somebody that you may know and respect already, who has paid their mortgage off in about 4 years. Let's hear from Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T., the hip hop preacher. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, and our team created the most powerful money management, wealth building, debt elimination system ever created. At our recent seminar in Nashville, Tennessee, the keynote speech was delivered by the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Dr. Eric Thomas. E.T., as he's also known, mentioned he paid off his mortgage in 4 years using the P.I.L.L Method. I invite you to watch and listen.
Listen to me, y'all. Well, one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Did you hear that? No mortgage, no stress. If you would like to become debt and mortgage free within an average of 7 to 9 years by cutting your interest costs by up to 75%, go to pillmethod.com and request a savings and earnings report today. All right, folks, you heard it. You heard it here. Get your savings and earnings report. Go to ice10k.com. Up above our heads, click that link, and you will see a tab that says Get Your Savings and Earnings Report. To do that, you just fill out the information, follow all of the instructions, and you will be led into our financial form. Fill it out. Then somebody from my staff will take that information and then produce what's called a savings and earnings report for you. Set up a consultation, and then you can know the month, day, and year you can be debt free. All right? How do you like that? So if you also want to know how you can get some of the basic information, go to Amazon and get my book, or you can go to the same 10K card to get my book. That's online. So you get my book. It's a P.I.L.L method, how to eliminate a better way to eliminate debt. And this is what we're talking about, folks, a better way to eliminate debt. Get the book, and then you can start learning the basics of interest cancellation. Not everything is in the book. It's 100 pages. Okay. But you're going to get some valuable information out of that book. Just from the book, you're going to be able to save thousands of dollars, but it's going to lead you to a system where you can save and produce even millions. We need to do a whole room on that, Miss Dawn, how you can become a millionaire with a W-2. Miss Dawn, are you going to be available on Sunday?
What's going on Sunday for the room?
Yeah, for the room. How about talk about how you can become a W-2 millionaire?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So we're going to do it with some very good financial information, and we're going to couple that with interest cancellation, and we're going to talk about how to become a millionaire working a W-2 job. Whoa! I think that's going to be great. All right. That's what it is. Sunday. All right. W-2 millionaire. All right.
And let's see if I can get some free counseling from you while we're there. If we have time, I'll give you my mortgage, and we'll see how soon I can say goodbye.
Wait, listen. We'll use your numbers. How's that?
That works.
I love it. That's, folks, be back here on Sunday for that. On Sunday, we're going to be back here at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, and Central time, and 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. That's 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. If you can't be here, then you'll be able to watch the replays on the social media platforms that we're going to be live streaming to, so that you can see it from LinkedIn or Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook. So you'll be able to watch all of that there. So folks, listen, we've got a few minutes left, and I want to do just a little bit of math. Sometimes, the math part can be boring, but I thought I would bring up something that's nobody, not even me. I've never done this in a presentation before. So I even have some notes here to help me along. All right, watch this. We're contrasting an $800,000 mortgage at 7.22% versus a mortgage where I bought down the rate, okay, to 5.5, and I put $180,000 down. So now I have a $700,000 loan. What we're going to be looking at is the $730,000 the bank wants over a 30-year period versus the $1,274,693.60 that the bank wants in interest on the other loan. And I'm going to show you. Okay, Dawn, here we go. I'm going to show you. I still would rather have the $880,000 at 7.22. Okay. If you want to see that, if you want to see why I would choose the bigger loan at the higher interest rate over the smaller loan at the lower interest rate, put a number 9 in the chat. Put number 9s in the chat if you want to see why I would choose the larger number. Okay. I'm going to put the numbers on the screen. Jonathan Jones says, Houston 3, New York 2 final. Oh man, that means listen, thank you, Jonathan. That means Houston is up 2-0 in the series, right? Man, oh man. Okay. All right. That's what happens when you're old. You go to sleep early. All right. So listen, folks, are you ready? Did I get, let me, I forgot to even check to see if I got some number 9. Oh, I got one. That's all I got is one number 9 in the whole room. And I didn't get any online. I got to see some more number 9s for me to go through listen, do you want to know why I would choose an $880,000 loan at 7.22 than a $700,000 loan at 5.5? Okay. Oh, here they come now. Here they come, because I was getting ready to go home. Okay. The number nines are coming in now. All right. Because I was going to say, listen, if y'all don't want to know, that's okay. We can go home early. Okay. But also, folks, would you ping a few more people in here? Because we have 13 shares. Been here an hour and a half, and we got 13 shares. Can we get up to 20 shares? Do me a favor and get up to 20 shares right now. Let's do it right now. Let's get up to 20 shares. And as we're getting up to 20 shares, we can get a few more people in so that they can hear why I would choose an $880,000 loan at 7.22% over the $700,000 loan at 5.5, where I had to pay money to get it. Okay. All right. So let's go. I'm still at 13. Let's get me up to 20. Can we share the room a few more times, folks? I would appreciate it very much. And somebody out there is going to be able to benefit. Oh, here they come. Here they come in now. All right. Watch this now. Watch this. I thank you for sharing the room. 880,000. I've got 1,274,969,693. All right, now remember, I paid $180,000 down on the other loan, plus I bought down the rate. Okay, so if we're just looking at what the bank wants, 730, as opposed to 1,274,000, why would anyone take the $880,000 loan when the bank wants so much more money? Even if I save the interest, can I save enough to justify getting the larger loan with the larger interest rate? Can I justify that? The only way, folks, to look at this thing is to do the math. This is math, not magic. Don't listen to the words, watch the math. All right. So now what would happen? So the bank wants 1,274,000. So I'm going to take a look at this loan. All right. Now, remember, if I have this loan, Dawn, I still have $180,000 I was going to apply. So if my only choices were to do a down payment of 180 or a prepayment of 180, I'm going to choose the prepayment way. Watch what happens when I prepay my $180,000 to the $880,000 loan. I need you all to focus in on, let's put it back on the screen. All right, let's make it big. All right, great. So here's what we're looking at. All right, so we're going to look at putting $180,000 down on this. And if you're new to the room, you want to be able to see this, you can go to LinkedIn, you can go to Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube to watch these examples. Just search P.I.L.L method and you'll be able to see it. Or you can go to the link above that says watch us live. Either way, okay? So watch this. Look at cumulative principal and cumulative interest. When you prepay, okay, the bank has to subtract that from what you owe. All right, so if I prepay this money, I get to go all the way down to $180,000. Look at this, $180,000. I go all the way down to here, okay? I knock off over 13 years off this loan. $180,000. Okay, when I pay that, I knock over 13 years off this loan. And look how much interest I save. Okay, I have $760,000 in interest saved. Okay, 760, 105.76. So if I save that already, okay, I can subtract that money. I can subtract that from the $1 million that the bank wants. They want $1,274,693. $693.60. So let's put that on the screen. All right. So the bank wants 1 million. I'm going to put it in the calculator. 1,274,000. Okay. 693. 693 and 60 cents. Okay. There we go. Oh, delete that. 0.60 cents. Okay. Now I saved seven. I'm going to subtract from that by prepaying. I knock off $760,000. So we're going to subtract 700. Okay. 760,000. 105.76 equals 514,000. So I only have $514,000 left to pay in interest on a $700,000 loan by prepaying that. Now I need you to contrast what I have left to pay on 700,000 versus doing a whole lot of gymnastics to get the $700,000 loan. All right. And I had to pay extra to get the 5.5 inch. Look how much interest the bank wants from me. 730,827.20 versus taking the larger loan and prepaying the 180,000. And I only have at this point, if I don't do anything else, I only have $514,000 in interest to pay versus $730,000 after I put a down payment and I bought down the rate. Dawn, what do you think?
You know, it makes my toes curl up in the boots.
Listen,
I love it.
listen, folks.
I get excited.
Has anybody at the banking level ever showed you something like this as to why you would want to pay that money down as opposed to a prepayment when you look at the overall interest cost of doing both scenarios? And guess what, Dawn? This loan, if I take the $800,000 loan, put the $180,000 down, save $760,000 in interest immediately, and put this in my program, these folks will probably be out of debt in about 5 years.
You know that's where I'm going. You know that's my spin, is because I feel like once you clear your mortgage,
yes,
your retirement number changes altogether. It shortens that time frame. You do not have to wait to 62. You do not have to wait to 65. Your number, your retirement number then becomes a financial number, not an age.
Okay. So listen, folks, what we're doing here is we're going to show this couple how to use that $180,000 to their benefit, instantly save $760,000 they don't have to pay. All right. Put everything in the P.I.L.L method. All right. Let our computers take over. Be done with this loan in about 4 or 5 years. And the interest, all the interest paid, total, about $42,000. That's it.
Hey, Don.
That's it.
The other part I think is important to say is when you say in the P.I.L.L method, you're talking about the software. Tell them that you don't touch their money. They're the management of their own funds.
Dawn, Dawn, I think you need to tell them, because what if you found out that to do the P.I.L.L method, that our company took complete control of your finances and we moved the money. You gave us access to your bank account. But Dawn, we're going to save you money.
I hear you. You know I'm suspect anyway. So no, that wouldn't work for the kids. No. So when you said in the P.I.L.L method, I was like, I hope they need to understand it's the software and the coaching. They get to manipulate what they will do and not do And it's all within your control. And you get to see the numbers for yourself. This is not magic. This is not I call it magic because I like to see the amortization schedule. But it's not hocus pocus. It's not put your money in here and turn it all about. This is your control, learning how to use the software and be able to make the decisions on your own.
Wow, Dawn. See, listen, folks, what she's trying to tell you is that this program, think of it as GPS for your money. When you have the GPS going in your car, and I like using Waze, okay, as all the information I get from Waze, I love it. In fact, we were using it just last night, and the Waze said, says that we're rerouting you around some bad traffic. Can you imagine that in the midst of my trip last night, Waze rerouted me around the bad traffic without me even knowing that there was bad traffic up ahead. Here's what I'm trying to tell you. Our program is like GPS for your money. When the GPS says turn here, the GPS doesn't take control of your steering wheel. It just tells you where to turn, gets you ready for the turn, but you have to turn. Nobody touches your steering wheel. Nobody's taking the control of the car out of your hand. We do not touch your money. We don't even know where your money is. We just know that you may have $5,372 in a savings account somewhere, or you have $10,000 in your checking account somewhere. We just know the numbers. We don't know where it is. We don't have account numbers. We don't have any of that. But when we have the numbers, then we can direct you as to what to do with those numbers to get the most out of your money. Do you want to be able to handle your money in such a way is that you can live well? And I mean an enhanced lifestyle. Okay. You can live well. You can save more money. You can save more interest and pay off your debt way faster in 7 to 9 years. Listen, you get everything. You get to save money. You get to put money in the bank. You put money in your investments. You get to save on interest, cut your interest cost by 75%. You get to do that. You also get coaching and customer service available. So Dawn, do you get coaching and you have the ability to call customer service 8 hours a day, 5 days a week?
Yeah, that's what the P.I.L.L method offers.
All right, Dawn. So tell the people, have you ever called customer service and got a busy signal or been sent to a machine?
No, I haven't.
Somebody answers that phone and answers your questions. That's what we're talking about, folks. So listen, I'm going to bring up, as our last little bit, I'm going to bring up the program so people can actually see it. I'm bringing up a demo so that you can see the program for itself. But I wanted to show you all that and to just talk to you a little bit about financial violence and knowing that these folks would have been okay. There are people in their neighborhood that are doing things the traditional way. They put the money down. Okay. They bought down the rate and they're living their best lives. Okay. And they're creating memories for their families. But somebody knew they could have saved several $100,000 in interest on the way to their best lives, but no one shared it with them.
Hey, Don, a couple things.
Go right ahead.
I put a correction in the chat earlier because I did find the capital gains tax for married is $500,000 is the limit. I think I mentioned $550,000, so I wanted to make sure that we corrected that, and it was $250,000 for single. And I'm wondering with this couple, if their rate expires, could they go back to 7? They might not likely want to make the decision, but I think it might be worth looking at if they could. Instead of, because they haven't closed on the loan, they could potentially just go back to a higher rate as long as they're committed to this program and your coaching.
Well, listen, they're already committed to the program, so we are taking a look at the numbers. They may let that go because listen, it's attractive. It's attractive because that's how we've been oriented for years to think this way. Get the lowest interest rate you can. And it's attractive the way it's presented, but nobody presents the other side of the question.
Yeah, I think that's worth it because like before we met and I was doing something similar, because I understood the amortization schedule is the only reason why I did not buy down.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, the interest rate, I don't care about the interest rate. They're not getting all my money anyway.
Exactly.
Right. But I didn't know exactly my numbers. I didn't have the software to be able to make that decision. I knew I understood it enough that they weren't getting all of it and they were going to get a whole lot less. So I'm thinking that couple, it just may be worth even entertaining. Hey, do we let this interest rate expire and we go to what we know? Now they have the P.I.L.L method and the coaching.
Well, I'm putting the information on the screen. You can see what we call our opportunity cost calculator right now, folks. That does all the math for us. And this example that I'm putting on is John and Rebecca Jones. We're resetting the program now, and we're taking a look at some of the things that the decisions that the program helps us to make. So I'm taking a look at the accounts, okay? And here's one thing that we can do to fight financial violence, okay? We only talk to people who want to know that there may be a better way, okay? We're not doing something that is explaining differently a way that is currently out there. We're not putting a new twist on it. We're not doing something that says, understand this bit of information. We're not describing it in a new fashion or making you understand it better. We're doing something completely new and revolutionary. We're getting rid of the old information and bringing in the new information. So if you want a better way, this is it. In fact, it is so much better. And I tell all my clients this: if you find a better way than this way, we will purchase our system back from you and we'll start doing the better way. There is nothing on the planet that beats what we're doing right now in interest savings. That's why we are here. If somebody has looked at their mortgage, looked at their student loans, looked at their car loans, looked at all of the interest that they're paying, how much interest they're paying per month, and they're paying on these bills, and they realized that we've been paying for years, and the debt isn't going away like we thought it should. And they want to do something different. They want to do something better. So they start searching, and they find the P.I.L.L method because it's the only thing that's different out there that makes sure that here it comes, that you'll be able to mathematically pay the least amount of interest that's possible for you. This system is designed so that you pay the least amount of interest possible for you, and no other system comes close. And if they do, we'll switch over. We'll stop using our methodology. We're not going to try to convince you to do something where something is better out there. We're going to switch all of our whole model over to something different. But for 16 years, no one has come close. And you know what happens when people try to come in and match what you're doing? It takes them years to catch up. Now, they'll try to fool you with marketing and say, we do what the P.I.L.L method does. Yeah, but we're the only ones that are offering a guarantee that if anyone beats our system, we will buy the system back from you. The other ones will not give you that guarantee because they know they can't beat our system. in saving interest. Okay, watch this. So we have on our screen the opportunity cost calculator that Dawn was talking about. We see here that John and Rebecca Jones have $500 in savings. They have 500 in checking, 5,000 in savings. They've got an auto loan, 25,000. They've got they have 2,000 on their Visa. Interest rate is 21%, and they have a $200,000 mortgage at 6%. Before they even pay a dime, Dawn, before they even pay a dime, I can see in this upper window how much interest John and Rebecca will be able to save. $179,531. That's how much interest they'll be able to save. I can also change this window to see how much interest they have left remaining. Okay, the interest remaining plus the interest saved is the amount of interest that the bank wanted up front. Now remember, the interest payments you skip don't matter. They're going to skip enough interest that it adds up to $179,000. I don't care if the bank wanted this amount of interest plus the $56,000 they're going to ultimately end up paying. I don't care about that. What we care about is what we actually pay, not what the bank wants us to pay. And because we're going to cut this down by 179,000, guess what? I know, watch this. We're going to be out of debt in 7.7 years or less. It's not because we're trying to get out of debt fast. It's because we're trying to get out of debt cheap. Cheap equates to fast. Fast doesn't always equate to cheap. And look at this. As of today, they're going to be out of debt. We're going to change this to the payoff date, April 12th, 2030. How would you like to know that, folks? The exact day and year you're going to be debt-free. And Dawn, if you're trying to get ready for retirement, is this kind of information important?
You know it is. Especially if you like me, ready to go now, and you're trying to, hey, let me make sure I got these numbers right. I need to be zeroed out.
Yes.
Before I say goodbye.
And what if you are an entrepreneur on the side and you can actually pay yourself more money?
Yeah, it worked. Then you can see how quickly, or what you call it, not quick, how cheaply can you get to your goal?
Exactly. All right, folks, here's the last piece on this. I have a client right now who has this system. He's an engineer. Okay. And based on this, so what he's doing is he's telling the program how much he's making. So we're going to go back to August. He's telling the program how much he's making. Every time he gets paid, he just tells the program how much he got paid. Okay. All right. There it is. So when it disappears from the screen, it's just telling the program to add that amount of income to what he's doing. And then because that's how much was direct deposited in the bank. So the program has to know how much you have in the bank at all times. When they pay the mortgage, they're going to click on the screen and tell the program how much they paid the mortgage. And that's going to be subtracted from their virtual bank account because that $11.99.10 was subtracted from their real bank. Now, the program says also when to put money in savings. When you see these little arrows, that's like the financial GPS telling you what to do. And so the program says, oh, by the time we get here, you will have $100.90 in checking you don't need for anything else. Put that in savings. By the time we get down to here, you should have about $588.72 in your checking account you don't need for anything else. Go ahead and put that in savings as well. And then the program says, oh, if we keep doing what we're doing, let's go to next debt transfer. We're starting out in August. By the time we get to October 7th, 2022, we should have $3,120 saved up of money we didn't need for anything else, including our fund money, our budget we've set aside for lifestyle, because we don't touch that. Okay. You tell us how much you want to spend on lifestyle. We put that in there. Okay, we put that in, and then after all of that is paid, lifestyle is paid for, everything is paid for. In a couple of months, they should have $3,120 that they can take out of savings and put towards the debt. Let me show you what it says. Okay, we have the date. Look at this. On 10/7, the program says take money out of savings, put it on the Visa, pay the Visa off to zero. When you do that, then the program figures out how much interest are we saving? $1,736.34. Look at that. All right. And then, after we pay off the Visa, then we're going to go back down to October and look here that the regular mortgage is paid on the 1st, the regular mortgage payment. Then the program says wait 6 days and put an additional $1,116.98 on the mortgage principal. No more, no less. They still have about $5,000 left in savings. How about that? So the program doesn't tell you to exhaust your savings. It says put this much is optimized, put it on this day, this exact amount to the penny on the mortgage, no more, no less, and save $5,435.91. All right. So if you want to know more about, come back on Sunday. Somebody ask the question and I'll answer it. If you want to know why we're doing exactly what the program says, instead of taking a little bit more out of the bank, adding, and let's just round it off to $1,500, and then the interest savings jumps to $7,259.77. Why don't we do more instead of stopping where the program asked us to stop? Bring that question to me on Sunday and I'll answer it for you then. Folks, I want to thank you for being here. You've been a great audience. You have shared the room. You have commented. You have followed us. You have subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we appreciate you. Miss Dawn, do you have a couple of words to say to the people as we go out today?
Hey, just wanted to say, hey, thanks again. It's always fun hanging out with you, talking about interest cancellation. I'm Dawn Robinson, the Money PhD. Give me a follow, join my Facebook group, and we'll see you back next week or Sunday. Thanks for coming up.
Exactly. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And for 16 years, we've been doing just that, fighting financial violence, bringing people out of financial violence, giving them the information they need to understand their money better and to save a lot of interest. We're going to be right back here on Sunday. Come back to see us. We'll be here at 8:30 a.m. Central, 9:30 Eastern, to bring it to you all over again. And I have it written down. We're going to go over what's my case Sunday. Oh, how to become a W-2 millionaire. Let's give the final word to Dr. Eric Thomas. See you all on Sunday. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L Method International, and our team created the most powerful money management, wealth building, debt elimination system ever created. At our recent seminar in Nashville, Tennessee, the keynote speech was delivered by the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Dr. Eric Thomas. E.T., as he's also known, mentioned he paid off his mortgage in 4 years using the P.I.L Method. I invite you to watch and listen.
Listen to me, y'all. One of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Did you hear that? No mortgage, no stress. If you would like to become debt and mortgage free within an average of 7 to 9 years by cutting your interest costs by up to 75%, go to pillmethod.com and request a savings and earnings report today.